6 months ago, Pakistan was hit by its worst natural disaster, floods which affected 20 million people and left 2,000 dead. There was a huge response to appeals for aid, particularly amongst this region's Muslim communities.
But is the money getting through to those who need it most? Our special correspondent Peter Wilson and Radio WM's Louise Brierley have travelled across Pakistan and in a series of special reports will look at the impact of aid from the Midlands.
Pakistan, a nation of contrast, from hot deserts to cool mountains, from the haves to the have-nots. We follow one man, a former bus driver from Walsall, Mohammed Aslam, whose charity has transformed lives.
Our trust always tries to find out remote area where the other cannot be reached, and we go there and help them.
Homes built to replace tents, schools where the floodwaters swept all away. And we discover how children in desperate need of surgery are having the gift of perfect smiles. Discover the real Pakistan on Midlands Today. Pakistan, for those with Western eyes, it can seem an alien culture, a breeding ground for terrorism, a hothouse for extremism. But our guide is Mohammed Aslam. He's a member of the Order of the British Empire, a retired Walsall bus driver. He's the driving force behind a charity helping people in disaster zones.
When I first came here, there was no houses at all. Everything was destroyed. I was told that the water here was about at least 9-10 feet. You know, when I tried to cross here, everything was demolished.
Last August, he saw to it that £80,000 was used to set up tents and food for villagers in the Punjab. I was there when he returned to one place destroyed in the floods, now renamed the Midland Village. 35 homes had been built. People here had lost everything when the floodwaters came.
16 feet water, there was nothing to be seen, nothing to be live. Our animals, our sheep, goats, and our eating materials, everything, nothing. Our beds, pots, nothing was to be here. Only we were and our children. We were saving our lives.
Mohammed Aslam and his team are seen as lifesavers.
We were very trouble here when this was flood. Then Midland came, then they provide us many things. They provide us every facilities necessaries. So now we are happy, we are confident that we will start our life.
The Walsall charity may have given people the tools and the supplies, but the villagers themselves are rebuilding their homes. The land near Multan was once a prosperous fish farming area. Stone schools were washed away, so too the fish in the ponds.
Person who used to produce the food for the fish, you know, and he owed their money as well, and he's struggling, you know, they're asking for money, he got no money, he don't know what to do.
In the UK, the police and politicians try to promote ways of discouraging extremism. Mohammed Aslam and the Midland International Aid Trust appear to be winning hearts and minds. In villages here, schools are teaching hope and inspiration. These flowers on the garlands are dying now, but everything that's been achieved here at the Midland School will last for many years ahead. Peter Wilson, the BBC Midlands Today in Langsarai in the Punjab.
That money really has made such a difference.
Yeah, he's a remarkable man as well.
I know, lovely to see some happy, smiling faces there. And there's going to be more reports from Peter's trip to Pakistan on Midlands Today tomorrow and on Monday as well. There's also more about it at bbc.co.uk/Birmingham. Now,
more than 500 children have been given the chance to smile for the first time thanks to donations raised here.
Yes, the children, some of the poorest in Pakistan, suffer from...
Gujarat, a city teeming with people. In a side road, we find a hospital. It's a former furniture showroom set up by one family. Parents have brought their children to show us. Some in desperate need of surgery, some whose faces have been rebuilt, able to smile for the first time. 12-year-old Shazan didn't have a nose at all. It's being reconstructed. They're still going to be doing more work on it, but it's changed his life completely. Why are we here? We're following Mohammed Aslam from Walsall. His charity has been helping the victims of Pakistan's worst ever disaster, the floods of 6 months ago. And he's also using donations to help all of these children.
The parents, how happy they were to see their children. And the children are so happy they can mix with the school children, playground with the children. Before, it wasn't possible for them. They seemed to be neglected, you know. They've been teased by the other children in the school and in the play areas. But now they are so confident and they are so happy.
Cleft lip and palate deformities are caused by many different factors. Malnutrition is just one of them. Surgery is often fairly simple. The results can be dramatic. The medical team comes from Hull in the UK.
I've been involved with this kind of work for more than 10 years now. And when we go for this charity work, it depends on the team. But normally, between 3 surgeons, we can do up to 200 cases.
He says that we are really happy and we have been operated absolutely free, and he is thankful to the Midland International Aid Trust and the OPSA team from Hull, UK, and especially Dr. Muhammad Riyaz.
Without this kind of help, poor children would normally be left disfigured and unable to speak. Instead, their smiles lit up our visit. Peter Wilson, BBC Midlands Today, Gujarat in Pakistan.
Oh, I love to see that as well.
Fantastic.
Really, really lovely. Good evening and welcome to Monday's Midlands Today from the BBC. Tonight, failing to help their own. That's the accusation Pakistani people are making about their own government as they struggle to cope with the aftermath of the worst floods in the country's history.
Reporter Louise Brierley, I travelled across Pakistan, a country of extreme contrast, struggling with economic, political and security problems. Our guide is charity worker Mohammed Aslam from Walsall, helping those whose lives were torn apart by last year's floods. Relief is building new homes. A local journalist alleged that the government was doing little to help.
There are a lot of problems about the corruption.
Admitted that they'd kept £50 million and has worked tirelessly to see that money donated in the Midlands gets to those in need.
First time I came and set up this school in the tent. Now you can see how beautifully, you know, this school is going to be for these children, and I'm really overjoyed, you know, and thanking those people back in UK whoever donated money to these good causes.
Our journey ended in the north near Kashmir, but we were turned back at the border because of red tape and security.
Has Midland's aid made to people in Pakistan?
The charity has given people the tools and supplies, but it's for people themselves who are rebuilding their homes.
Charities in the Midlands have been raising money and providing aid for parts of Pakistan devastated by last year's floods. But how much difference have their efforts really made?
Islamabad, the capital. It's the first of our 7 days in Pakistan.
And how long will it take from here to Multan? 9 hours. So it's a long journey ahead of us.
Our guide, Mohammed Aslam from Walsall, heads a charity which has helped people here overcome the worst floods in their history. I'm here to follow Mohammed for BBC WM, and this is my first introduction to a third world country. Well, the roads are quite dicey, I'd say. And a lot of people roaming the streets on busy highways. Last August, this part of the Punjab was under 10 feet of water. Flooding swept everything away. To try to help, more than £100,000 was raised in the West Midlands. And Mohammed Aslam made sure the money was spent wisely. A tented village was set up, and the people here called it the Midlands. 6 months on, and he's returned.
When I first came here, there was no houses at all. Everything was destroyed. I was told that the water here was about at least 9-10 feet. You know, when started to cross here, everything was demolished, and the people was very, very disheartened, you know, and worried. and they requested if we can help. You know, I said we'll try to help whatever we can.
Everything belonging to these villagers was destroyed when the floodwaters came.
16 feet water, there was nothing to be seen, nothing to be live. Our animals, our sheep, goats,